Time for work. Hey guys, Brian coming to you today, obviously from there. Wanted to give you a behind the scenes look at just what the heck we do when we're not trying to sell stuff or keep guys going in the field. What do we do in the off season? What does that look like? And how do we stay employed? So today I just wanted to show you around the shop, show you a couple of things that we do during this time of the year in preparation for the next step. Planting and spraying, maybe cultivating, spraying some more, and then eventually harvest. What goes into that beforehand? Well, I'll show you a little bit of that today. One of the things that I got to work on today is this display right here. I sold this unit to a guy on Facebook, and he does not need a certain component that is in here, right underneath that little cover. He doesn't need the radio to talk to any RTK tower, so I'm going to remove that because I can probably use that for someone else later down the road. As you can tell, I don't use this toolbox much because I'm not in the shop much. Usually I'm working out of my pickup. This is a delicate procedure, and I have fat hands, so we're going to be extra careful. Try not to lose anything. Remember, I am a licensed and trained professional. Do not do anything that you're about to see at home. I'm going to show you this. This is what the innards look like. Our radio module is that little guy. Put into the cover of the FMX screen. Plugs in down in here. You can see by the part number that this display was actually delivered with the radio in it, which isn't always the case. Sometimes they're dealer installed by guys like myself. This one is probably, like I say, I think they developed the FMX in 2009. Judging by this part number, this is not quite that old. It'd be early 2013, 14, 15 era. These are your power wires to power the module. And this is our antenna cable, which is very small, very breakable, but thankfully came out nice and easy. Some may ask, what exactly is this and what are you removing and why do we need to do it? Well, again, this chip here talks to ground towers for RTK accuracy. And for those of you who have no idea what I mean by RTK accuracy, that is accuracy so close that you can get a tractor and implement repeatedly within 1 inch of the same spot year after year. And there's certain equipment that takes, certain unlocks and capabilities that the equipment needs. But this little guy, this guy right here, that's what does your magic, or at least part of it. Now that we've gotten that all out, I'm going to plug this portion back in so it's powered. Alright, so that part is complete. Got it removed. Now we're going to power this thing up. make sure that it's ready to go to work at its new home when it gets there. Power and communication. I tested this with the steering system that it's going to go out the door with already, so I know that'll work. I'm just going to power this up. Make sure we didn't screw anything up by playing around inside its guts. We're powered up now, so we can do a test. Check the system information. Before, it told us T&L 900 radio. That would have been this little guy. That one. Not there anymore. It's not connecting to Easy Steer because I don't have it plugged in. But we're on the latest firmware. Yes. All the other stats are over here. I think this unit is ready to go to its new home and make someone very, very happy. Now for my plethora of boxes. Which one will be large enough to fit everything? Small enough that it doesn't cost a fortune to ship? And when I don't buy a whole lot of boxes, kind of sift through the pile that we have here because we receive a lot of different things. They come in a lot of different boxes, so we just make it work. We are dealing with a lot of sensitive electronics, so we want to pack things tight and right so nothing gets damaged. And this one is going to Georgia, so that's a long trip. We're going to make sure it's right. We sell it the same way we would get it from Trimble or Ag Leader or whoever. It's going to be a complete kit. You're grabbing a very expensive Christmas present. The other part of this job is now labeling and keeping the parts, keeping track of the parts so they can use it later for someone who needs it. So we're going to pack this up in a tidy little box. Make sure I don't lose those. Those are very important. Doing things one-handed, slightly more difficult than using two hands. So you can tell this is a very technical and organized shipping and receiving department that we got going on here. This is no longer that part number. For my own purposes, this guy's ready to go to Georgia. This guy's going to go upstairs. Well, here it is, everybody. Next Level Ag Parts Room / Back 40 Podcast Studio. I have found that cables just lying on the shelf without a bin location or anything can tend to get a little messy. And you don't really maximize your space. So this week, I ordered these from Uline. And they showed up actually a couple days later. I was very impressed. Anyway, we're going to organize all of our stuff into these bins with dividers so that I actually can get my life together here a little bit. Be ready for installs and service needs throughout the coming season. So, yeah, I'm just not mentally prepared to tackle that one yet. That'll probably be later this afternoon. Anyway, here's our RTK whip and antenna area. There's its new home. More to come from up here later. But now, maybe I shouldn't be showing you guys this. I'm going to get robbed now. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. But I trust you. Can I trust you? Yeah. I think we'll be all right. You might be asking yourself, Brian, why is your pickup in here? Well, the reason is twofold. My wife's been on me for a while to get tabs put on it, and I didn't feel like doing it in the cold. So it's in here for that. Oh yeah, there's threefold. there's a whole lot of stuff in the box that needs to be cleaned, organized. That's part of why all of this stuff is here too. All my Deutsch connectors, well, not all of them, most of my Deutsch connectors showed up. So I want to organize that, organize the pickup. Third reason, if my pickup is parked out front, people know I'm here. And then they come in and talk, which is great. I love it. It's what we do. But some days, I need to get something done. So partially hiding, partially trying to get stuff done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In one of our other videos, when we were talking about AgroLiquid, we briefly talked to you guys about what all happened here. I can share pictures of the transformation that's happened in this building. Last year, we insulated and heated it so that we could take delivery of AgroLiquid. And we were trying to get away from using these trailers just because they're not diked. There's a little bit of a risk there, but once again, we had to use them so we could buy a whole bunch of product at the time when we didn't know if we were going to be able to get product. So it was more of a desperation move than ever. Luckily, we haven't had to fill these yet. We got these tanks in time, which was also a miracle. They showed up a couple weeks before the end of the year. We got them all plumbed in. We're actually waiting on one. There's a dead spot here where all them hoses are. We're waiting on one more tank, but that was kind of a last minute thought anyway. We ordered it when these all got here because we thought, well, we got more room than we thought. So we're gonna maximize the space we have. So we got these all brought in. We're diked up. We're all legit. Tried to make this as clean as possible so we don't have screw ups. And we don't have to use these indoors anymore. I just keep walking around here, but trying to think of things to share with you guys so that you can be in our world a little bit. Thought maybe I'd share the specs. So last year we had 3 of these trailers, black and blue ones, parked in that same spot all the way across the building. That was a lot of liquid sitting on the floor, unprotected. So what we did, each of these trailers holds 9,000 gallons by itself. We put in the 3 larger tanks are each 4,600. Each of these smaller tanks is just under 1,500. We've got more storage that's going to be in here than what we had in those tanks anyway, and they're safer. Yeah, just better for everybody, you and me, and the insurance man. So that's been a big part of the project. We've got some things going on in the office, just a little facelift, making space for people, making sure that I, Sean, Matt, Nick, and Jana each have a spot to be, and we're not overlapping. Right now we have Matt and Nick sharing an office. That's a little bit of a disaster. So we're fixing that problem. And with COVID, it exposed a lot of weaknesses, not for us particularly, but for business, hospitality stuff in general. So if we ever wanted to host a meeting, we always thought we could just go somewhere else. Well, we're not always guaranteed that. So enter the next part of the project. I'm not even sure what phase we would call this. Phase 2, 3, 4. It's all just kind of blended together. Here's the office. Most of you have seen it before. Most of you have probably come in during seed and liquid selling and planting season and thought, wow, you guys have a shithole. It's dusty, dirty, boxes everywhere. Well, there is a reason. There is a reason. Sean's office, my office, Nick/Matt's office, and Jana's office. Back here used to be parts and storage. Well, as you can see, it's not parts and storage. As I was saying before, when we wanted to host meetings, we never had a spot. Well, we took space that we already had in the building, redid it a little bit, and well, it's in the works. We're finally getting there. Final touches are happening soon. We're in the middle of it. This is Matt's new office. It'll be much better than having him and Nick trying to share. So I don't know if any of you know either of them. stuff everywhere. If they can at least keep their stuff to themselves, I think our life will be a lot better. I'll share a lot of pictures before and after. We've been taking pictures the whole way through, so you can see the transformation that's happened. We didn't add any square feet, just changing it. We have one project going on. Those of you who don't know, our location here on the corner of Highway 23 and Highway 7 in Clara City, Minnesota, our location is shared with my partners, Matt and Sean Condon, Condon Farm Shop. So them and their father, they farm here, and we rent the building space from them that they had from a previous business that existed here years ago that other family members of theirs owned. Long story short, it was empty. When we started, it was a good spot to start. And anyway, rambling on here, but the shop that they run their farm out of is just on the other side of this wall, and we have our first project of the season going on back there. It's a planter, 1240 Case IH, that we had been having a lot of problems with clutches dragging. The True Count clutches were on there from factory. We've been running them with Trimble Field IQ, and every year we clean those things out, and every year still one was dragging and causing issues. So a company that we've been representing for a while, just haven't done any projects with to date, Graham Electric Planter. We finally bit the bullet and we're doing electric drives from Graham. So I'll show you that here. So here's the planter. And right around the corner is Sean, who did most of the work. Well, what we got here, we replaced all of the main drive shafts, cables, chains, bearings, all that stuff, and replaced it with that motor. So the Graham electric drive bolts right to the side of the unit, adapts to where the clutch used to be, or where the drive system used to be, and then we tied it to the existing Field IQ system that was up there. So all the existing modules that we had were still usable. We didn't throw any of that away, but we threw a lot of extra parts, a lot of extra service crap that we didn't want anymore. Threw that away. What do you think about it, Sean?
Looks pretty clean. Looks good.
Think it's gonna work?
I think so.
I feel pretty good about it.
Me too.
Everyone I've talked to says it works best with Trimble, and luckily that's what we're doing. So see how it plays out. Week or two we'll actually test it. We'll keep you updated. If it works, we're gonna be pretty happy. If it doesn't, it's gonna be a different story. Here's the rest of the planter. They did update some liquid and different things, cleaning things up. Feel pretty good for January to have one planter almost done. But like I said, we're waiting on a few things to come yet so I can finish the tractor. Then we'll be able to run and practice with this thing. Hopefully it all works. Then move on to the next. We'll keep you updated. Don't want one of the 2 state troopers in this town to pull me over. Although, I go to church with one of them. I think he knows I paid, but maybe not. Previous owners really did a crappy job of putting those on, but oh well. It doesn't have to be perfect, I guess. Close enough. Legal for another year. Another thing I spend a lot of time this time of the year doing is making sure we're going to get the stuff that we said we're going to get. So I get calls daily from AgroLiquid for loads going out. I get calls from my seed reps, letting us know if product is tight, if we're going to get it, if we're not going to get it, which usually doesn't happen. Usually we get everything because we're kind of aware of that as we go through a season. But this year there was one variety that we sold a few bags of that the stacks wasn't available, so we're switching to double. So touch and base, see what guys want to do in those situations. Some just want to switch to the double, move things around, and I just have to change up the orders. So a lot of that, a lot of screen time, a lot of stuff that nobody ever sees, which is fine. It's the job. It's what we do. So it's good just so we get everything and we can follow through on what we committed to, what we promised. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about when I say stacks or double, basically corn traits are labeled as what they call smart stacks. That includes protection for pests and other things that gives protection both above ground and below ground. VT2s, or a double pro that we call them, that would be just above ground protection, so an extra layer with the stacks. But sometimes certain varieties just don't translate to the other traits, so either you end up with a different variety or we just manage other things slightly differently. Red, unavailable. Yellow, slightly. Green, good. This stage of the game, though, not a lot of desirable greens left. At least not when you're dealing with a Kinsey or a white planter that really need medium rounds. Well, here we are again. Upstairs doing the job that I've been putting off for too long. It's time to get it done. Otherwise, future Brian is going to be very disappointed in Brian now for not doing what I should have done so that life can go easier later. That's what it's all about at this time of the year. Do the work now so later you don't have to cuss at your past self. So, here we go. I was thinking, I've seen another guy on YouTube do this, and sometimes the work just gets done for him, so it's worth a shot. I don't know, mine must be broken. Still have to do it myself. You know, I am right-handed, so maybe I should do that. Nothing. Still broken. Let's go. Here we go. It worked? Almost. Not quite there, but we're a whole lot closer than we used to be. Organization is the key. Not always income producing tasks at the time, but hopefully this will keep us efficient in the season, keep me moving forward, keeping everybody rolling in the field rather than sitting here going through piles of cable and parts. Now that we got everything labeled, I feel a little bit better. Now all I need is for the rest of the stuff that I ordered in December to show up. That'd be great. So, but we're getting there. I gotta show you something else. So this video spans 2 days. We've done a lot of stuff downstairs to prepare for me. I'm actually going on vacation, so tomorrow and Monday and all next week, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and there's going to be a big mess, which usually gives me anxiety. But things are going to happen, so it's going to be fun to see the before and after when I get back. As you can see, things got a lot nicer in here. Last coat of drywall is being sanded off. Everything's getting done. Painters are going to come in next week, I hope. They're coming a long way in a short amount of time. If you guys have ever listened to the Back 40 podcast, one of their signature sponsors, Keith, the man, the myth, the legend, is hard at work. You're seeing him in his natural habitat. In a freaking mess. This is what happened yesterday as we prepare for the mess that is about to happen. Every office is a disaster, so I gotta leave. I need to get out of here. I need to go someplace warm. So that's what's happening. Hopefully when I get back I can give you another update video. Things will look a lot different. As for now, wish you a good day. Peace out.
I said no more spending any more money.
For the people watching on YouTube, can someone, let them know what exactly happened here this morning?
Matt, we've been talking about painting this truck for what, 4 years? We bought a truck like 5 years ago. Had a Marlin Ammerman put a day cab conversion kit on it, so it had a gray roof and a maroon back, and the rest of the truck was like an orange. And Dad said the classic line, let's run it for a year first before we see if we like it. 4 years. Then we'll paint it. That was like 5 years ago. So I'd ask him every year if he wanted to paint it, and he'd say, no, I'm not going to paint it. But then he'd say, we should really paint that truck. But when I wanted to get it done, he'd never do it. So we just took it to Josh Schmenicky, and he painted it. Dad didn't know it was missing the whole time it was gone. So we surprised us for it. So for 4 years, we had a piece of laminated printer paper as your Condon Farms sticker. It's great. That went better than I thought. Yeah, me too.
So you didn't notice it?
No idea.
It's because you got too
Did you get that?
I expected more screaming, honestly. Oh, man. Gotta love bloopers.